So, it takes a lot to genuinely get me concerned with politics because generally, I know how politics works. It's 90% show and 10% actual fucking work. So, every once in a while, though, I see something that really bugs the shit out of me. And this one really bugged the shit out of me because it brought to light a lot of things that I think are very important to discuss. And so we will discuss them.
So what's next in America's self-proclaimed sanctuary cities? The Trump administration is reacting with fury against federal judge William Orrick's ruling that struck down its executive order targeting those cities. Today, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said the ruling was not simply wrong, but dangerous. He said, quote, San Francisco and cities like it are putting the well-being of criminal aliens before the safety of our citizens, and those city officials who authored these policies have the blood of dead Americans on their hands. Spicer also called the ruling a gift to drug cartels and street gangs.
Well, see, that's the thing you don't think about. You just need access. That's all. As soon as you have access, you can get anything in to the country. So it's just protecting criminals. Like, I don't understand. It's criminals. No matter how. You know, if a child steals a loaf of bread, it's still theft. Like, no matter how sad or disappointing or depressing looking the people are that are fleeing from Mexico to come up to America, if they're not doing it through the proper channels, it's still illegal. Like, it seems so stupid to me. The sanctuary city. It's not even usually like it's refugees. It's just people that don't want to live in the country that are living. My God.
Well, let's stop thinking about the ruling in a vacuum, though, and think about the precedent for judicial power that it sets. Anytime President Trump tries to implement a policy, his enemies are getting a lone district court judge to block it nationwide. It's not a hard thing to do, actually. There are more than 650 district court judges in the U.S., and finding a liberal one who's going to rule the way you want isn't hard at all. Now, these rulings may be reversed by a higher court, but they slow down the process to the speed of your local DMV.
And then that way everybody can go, oh, the first 100 days. He didn't get anything done the first 100 days. I wonder fucking why.
The standard we're setting is that any lone federal judge can block any national policy he wants for months or even years simply by dressing up ideological disagreement as judicial ruling. There are many implications of this, and they're all bad. The potential for abuse is huge, and it goes both ways.
It does. Like, that's the dangerous thing with all this shit. You start setting precedents, man. Like, that's how Trump has so much executive power, because the Republicans stupidly fucking pushed on Obama with everything. When Obama wanted to do stupid shit that was going to be bad for us, whatever. But now there's all this executive powers that had to get voted in. So now that we're stopping Trump from doing anything, he's going to have to figure out a way to get executive powers to fucking circumvent the courts, which means that he's going to make the presidency more powerful. I mean, that's how this shit stacks. At some point, you just got to fucking, I don't know, man. Like, you can't just gum up every fucking thing.
What if a conservative judge halted funding for, I don't know, Planned Parenthood, or placed an immediate injunction on every existing gun regulation? You might like that, I might too, but you can see why it's a road you don't want to go down.
See, and it's going to be funny when some conservative judge decides to make abortion illegal. Like, anytime you're pushing people into an arms race, you got to really question what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're fighting for. That's when you need to examine your principles even more to really figure out what's really going on. But we all know what's really going on. This is exactly what.
The possible excesses are almost limitless, and in the end, nobody wins. The least accountable branch of our government becomes the most powerful, the judicial branch, and various cities and states can nullify virtually any federal law they don't like, effectively becoming their own countries. There's a word for that. It's called civil war.
And that's one of the two ways that this is going to wind up ending. Either it's going to devolve into chaos, and we're going to get the anarchy state that the fucking anti-fascists want, where everything's just going to break down. There really isn't going to be any law and order anymore. The police are going to be handcuffed because they can't do anything because everybody's going to scream racism. And it's going to wind up turning into a military state because they're going to have to, because the government is going to have to maintain control. Like, the more you rise up, the more the government is going to do things to maintain control. Or you're going to get to the point where you're already heading with the anti-fascist fucking pricks. They went out with people and protested, and that wasn't enough. And so the next time they went out with masks and sticks and hammers and broke shit, and that wasn't enough. So then it started the fights and burning things and all that, and that wasn't enough. And now, in the last Antifa demonstration, whatever, counter-protest, whatever you want to call it, it turned into a fucking rumble. And Antifa lost pretty soundly. So what's next? Because I gotta tell you this much. All the right-wingers that you guys are fighting against, they're the motherfuckers that have guns. Like, they're all the people with guns. So when you guys start bringing guns, which is it's how the arms race goes, nothing's worked so far. So they're not afraid of sticks and rocks anymore. What's next? Knives and swords? Guns? Because they got guns too, and they already bring their guns with them. So it's these self-fulfilling prophecies. I don't like Donald Trump, so I want to be able to say that Donald Trump's not doing anything and that he's inept as president. So we're going to do everything we possibly can to make sure that Donald Trump can't get anything done. And then what happens? Donald Trump becomes inept as a president. And we're going to call him a fascist dictator because all he wants is to get more power. So let's make it impossible for him to do shit. And he's going to have to do shit because he's going to have to do shit. Because he's going to have to do shit. I mean, come on. So, what's he going to have to do? He's going to have to figure out a way to do shit. Which means he's going to have to get more powers for the presidency, which isn't going to be terribly difficult for him to do because he has House and Senate control. How's it guy? Like, a fucking... So then he becomes a fascist dictator. And oh, look at that. Now he's a fascist dictator. So... Stop rioting in the streets, you assholes! Like, this is... You're trying a military coup. Like, apparently you don't realize that you're attempting a military coup. Like, you think you're doing a political thing. But you're rioting in the streets. You're using violence. Right? What comes next is tactics. When you start getting into tactics, now you're talking military coup. So, he's going to be completely within his powers to use the military against you. Dummies! Like... But then that's going to make him a fascist dictator. And Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi were right. And it's all going to be because of Russia. Like, oh my God. I understand you don't agree with his policies and whatever, but... You gotta find a better way. Like, because what you're doing now, this shit doesn't work. You can't do this with violence. I don't know what to tell you, but punching Nazis, the Nazis are gonna start punching back, and then it's gonna be rocks, and then it's gonna be sticks, and then it's gonna be whoever has the biggest stick that makes the biggest boom, that's the motherfucker that wins. And I gotta tell you what, Donald Trump has nukes. He's not gonna drop a nuke on U.S. soil, but he will fucking put you guys in your place. Like, he has the military on his side. And those people don't like you. They don't. They don't like you at all. So it just seems so stupid. Like it's literally the 5-year-old that picks a fight with his 15-year-old brother and then cries when his 15-year-old brother hits him. Like, motherfuckers, what do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? I don't get it.